All right, welcoming you to Cardio Flow, one of my favorite classes to teach. We are moving and we are breathing and we are here to create energy flow in the body. We're here to energy begets energy, right? So the goal is to move the blood, move the lymph fluid, move the breath, and to do this in concert with your Wellness Realms community. So today we're going to warm up with some slow flow warm-up movements, repetitive movements. We're going to have the option to stand up and do some of these movements in a standing posture, but you can always stay seated if that's your preference. And I want to tell you, for those of you, we were typing into the chat before I pressed the record button what your energy level is. And some folks were saying, they're really tired today, they have really low energy, maybe they're recovering from an infection or being sick. And we've got the whole range all the way up to Tigger, right? Feeling like really Energizer Bunny. But if you're feeling really tired today, even if you just watch, you may gain some benefit. There was this really interesting study that was done about strength training and the creation of muscles. And they put people in a room and they did the exercises and they had people watch the people doing the exercises. And then they had a control group that was not doing any of those things, or I don't know exactly what it was. And the people who were just watching did gain some muscle. So it might be beneficial just to watch and be here with us, even if you're feeling really low energy. So why don't we get started? I'm going to come right away back to my seat here. And I will invite you to just take a moment, maybe get what you need. If you need a glass of water, or if you're feeling really high energy and you'd rather just stand up right away, you can do that. But I'm going to start in a seated posture today. I'm just going to start walking in place. Walking in place, opposite arm, opposite leg. I'm not lifting my legs up very high. I'm not swinging my arms very much, but I'm just starting with a little bit of movement. And I'm going to notice my breath. I'm breathing in, breathing out. Marching in place. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take a little bit of a wider stance. And I'm just going to swing the arms in front, across my chest, one arm on top and then the other arm on top. And if you have shoulder issues today, maybe those arms are down low, right? Or you just do one side. Or maybe you want to bring the arms up a little bit higher, like shoulder height. Good. And I'm going to see how far I can swing my arms back and how far I can cross them across. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so I've done just some really basic movement here. And now, walking my feet back to center, I'm going to take a few breaths. And I'm just going to observe what it feels like to breathe. Breathing in is, in and of itself, a way to move the lymph fluid. So if you're confined to bed, you can still help your immune system function with deep breathing. Right? So I might let my belly soften and take 3 deep breaths here. I could even rest my hand on my belly. And it's helpful for us to connect to the breath before we do exercise to help us get in a more aware state of being. And that's very good for those of us with balance challenges, right? So we're kind of turning on another layer of awareness that can help us stay balanced. Okay, so again, with the feet out to the sides, I'm going to bring my arms out to the sides like a cactus. And I'm going to lift up and to the right, extending my arms, coming back to my cactus, reaching up and to the left, coming back to my cactus. I could breathe in, up to the right, exhale, center. Breathing in, lifting, breathing out, arms down. And we'll do one more on each side. Getting a little bit of side bending. And then I'm going to bring my arms out to the sides and just take some really loose twists to the right and to the left. Right? I'm not going as far as I possibly can go. I'm just getting a little bit of rotation in the spine to help me warm up. Twisting from one side to the other. My hips and my legs are anchoring down there, not moving. All right. And then I'm going to just rest my hands in my lap, walk my feet back, and I'm going to explore either holding onto the chair or lifting my arms out to the sides, lifting my right leg up. And because I'm away from the back of the chair, this ends up being more of like a core exercise. And I'm holding this leg out here for maybe 2 or 3 breaths. And when I'm ready, I could switch sides. Maybe between sides, I'll just let my arms swing a little bit. We were talking about wanting to really improve balance. And the core is really one of the key elements of having good balance. So I want to warm up our core a little bit, stretching that left leg out. Maybe you have the hands on the chair, maybe you have the arms out to the sides, and we're taking 2 or 3 breaths here, really lifting up, not only through the crown of the head, but imagine that your diaphragm, right, could be lifting up a little bit too, that center of your torso. And release. All right, now I'm going to shift back in my chair a little bit and lift both legs up. I'm zipping both legs, so like a mermaid's tail, and I'm lifting my chest, and I'm going to bring my arms once again out to the side so my chest is really open, good posture, and I'm pulling my belly towards my spine, big breath in, and then exhale and release. Take a little bit of a more open stance and let's do some torso circles. Nice and easy. Warming up the spine. So throughout our session today, you're going to go at your own speed, moving in the other direction. And if there's something that doesn't feel right to you, you're going to skip it or modify it. All right, and then I'm going to bring my legs back to center. And I'm going to step just one foot out and both arms. The other foot out, both arms. And I'm swinging just my forearms back to center. Stepping out, coming in. We kind of did something like this at the beginning of Sharon's fitness class last week. So I thought we would do a seated version of this. And then we'll progress to a standing version of this. So I'm at the edge of my chair again, just to kind of get the most out of this. Stepping out, swinging the arms in. You got it. Right, that looks really good. And I'm really working actually pretty hard in the core to stay balanced in this. You got it. One more on each side. Here we go. Last one on the left. And then we're going to come in and we're going to give ourselves a big hug as a way to stretch the upper back. I'm going to tuck my chin and I'm just going to take a couple breaths here. Sigh it out the mouth. All right. And then once again, I'm coming to that wider stance. And I might just rub my belly. Somebody said they just ate dinner. I think they were in a totally different time zone. So, you know, if you start to get too active and it messes with your digestion, you can come to this posture. Just right here, rubbing the tummy. That's good. And then we'll open the arms out to the sides again and sort of see how this feels for you. So I'm going to cross my elbow towards my knee, opposite elbow, opposite knee. And I'm going to take the first few really slow. I don't want to hurt my back here, and I'm just exploring, what does this feel like? And if you are holding your breath, you're not alone. I tend to hold my breath on hard whole body things, so I have to remember where to breathe. Breathe where it feels best. So let's see if we can do this for 2 more breaths, right? If you're tired and you want to stop, you can stop. And there you have it. Great job, guys. So I'm going to take my feet back to center, bring my arms down into my lap, and let's go ahead and lift the heels up off the earth and then the toes up off the earth. So I'm stretching my calves and my shins, and I'm getting a little bit of warm up in my ankles before we stand. If you're already standing, that's great. We're going to join you pretty soon. All right. And then I'll take a moment to slow down and decide whether standing up is what I want to do today. And I'm not going to be in any hurry as I come to stand mindfully. I might want to take a little sip of water, change up my location. That's good, guys. I'm seeing a lot of purple and red in the clothing today. I like it. Okay, so I'm coming to stand, and I want to make sure that I have my chair nearby. Make sure that I have my chair nearby. And all we're going to do is come up onto our tiptoes and release back down. Coming up onto our tiptoes and releasing back down. And maybe you want to do this in your seat, right? You can stay seated for this. And then the next time I come up, I'm going to see if I could hold it for 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and come down. And then we'll do just a few more regular lifts. Right? Maybe you want to add the element of lifting both or one arm out to the side. Floating up, floating down. It's beautiful. And then this time we're going to stay and see if we could hold for 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Release. Beautiful. Marching in place. Feeling my vitality moving in my body. Feeling things shifting, perhaps. Right? And if you get really tired or winded, take a seat. Take a breath. Just watch. That's okay too. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice wide stance. I'm going to take some hip circles. If you're seated, you could do some more torso circles. Just lubricating the hip joints here. Right? Getting yourself situated, doing what feels best to you. All right, then I'll bring my arms down at my sides and we'll take some side bends. Somebody said that they were recovering from respiratory infection, and the side bending can be really wonderful for stretching those little muscles between the ribs, which we use a lot when we're coughing, and they can become really inelastic as we age, and we don't move our bodies this way much. So if there's one little thing you want to add to your daily routine, if you're somebody who does get a lot of respiratory infections, this might be it. Let's do one more on each side. All right, and then I'm bringing my feet back, and I'm going to tap out to the side and bring my arms out. Tapping out, So this is sort of like a little bit of a coordination thing. I'm just touching my foot down. You can always put your hand on the chair if you need it. And in Sharon's class, this was warm up, right? To me, this is more of a meat of the practice exercise. But this is just the difference between Sharon and I. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's take a little stretch. I'm going to bring my hands to the back of my chair. And I'm going to walk my feet away and get a little stretch for the backs of my legs. And I could take 3 breaths here. If I have glaucoma, I'm going to keep my head lifted. Right? Vertigo 2. So just getting a little stretch here, seeing what feels good. And then I'll walk myself up nice and slow. That's good. Okay. So I'm going to sink down into my knees a little bit. If you have knee issues, stay safe here. I'll bring my hips back. And I can really feel this in my low back, so I want to make sure I'm kind of turning on some of my stomach muscles, pulling my belly towards my spine, right? And then from here, I might bring one or both arms back behind me. You got it, Joe. That's beautiful. Now we're going to inhale and straighten the knees, lift one or both arms up. Exhale, sink down, bring the arm or arms back. So just try as many of these as feel good to you. I'm calling them chair pulses because we're getting down into this shape of a chair. Inhaling, swooping the arms up. Exhaling, bringing the arms down and back. Right? You can hold onto your chair the whole time if you need to. You've got it, Connie. That's great. Really nice. And I'm almost saying to myself here, energy rise. And then I can ground down through my feet. And we'll do 3 more, right? If you want to stop, you can always stop. And last one. All right. Now, let's come just to stand for a moment. Just standing. And we do this a lot when we are standing. Say I'm standing in line at the grocery store, and I'm in the checkout aisle, and I've got all my weight in one hip, and I'm just, waiting for the person in front of me, looking at my phone. So that's an opportunity for me to practice this just standing tall pose. So I'm going to take a peek down at my feet and see, and this can really impact balance. How are my feet? Are my toes pointed out to the sides? Are my toes really pointed in? And I'm not going to say there's a perfect way that's right for everyone, but I want you to just find some stability through your legs and your feet. And if that's not possible for you because of things that you're feeling in your legs and your feet, you can just send some imaginary roots down in addition to what you're seeing. And then from here, I'm going to notice, where are my hips? Do I tend to kind of jut my hips forward or bring my hips back? I'm going to zip my core up, and I'm going to notice, where is my chin, right? And a lot of us tend to stand with the chin forward like this, and all of this weight of my head on my neck really exacerbates things. So I'm going to tuck that chin a little bit and imagine that string coming up from the top of my head, pulling me a little higher. And now here's the balance challenge for you. If you feel safe doing so, you can close the eyes. Staying in this standing pose, just closing the eyes, and let yourself soften a little bit into this shape. And see how it feels, right? If you feel like you're really moving around and wobbling a lot and it doesn't feel safe, you can open the eyes. Okay, and then as I open my eyes, I'm going to notice the whole entire room around me without looking at the room. I'm not looking from left to right. I'm just using my peripheral vision. And this is something we can do to help with our balance, is just to kind of open up our awareness. So I can notice what's beneath me without looking. And then from here, I'm going to start marching in place again. Opposite arm, opposite leg. And this time I might go a little bit slower and lift my knees a little bit higher. Always an option to keep your hands on your chair the whole entire time. All right, and then let's go ahead and stop for a moment. And this time, if it feels safe to me, I'm going to lift both arms and one leg and put it right back down. Both arms and the other leg, put it right back down. Right? And maybe you're just envisioning doing this, or maybe you're just taking one hand, or maybe you're taking both hands and one leg. So the slower you go, the harder this is. Maybe you can stay in your tuning fork position for a millisecond. You got it? And even if you're holding on the whole time, we're holding that knee up. And one more on each side. You got it. Beautiful. Okay, let's take a little stretch here. Both hands on the back of the chair or counter or wall. Get a little stretch for the back of the legs. And then I'm walking myself up, taking a sip of water. How are you guys doing? Doing okay? Feeling all right? Thumbs up from Bettina, Betty Ann, Edith. All right, thank you, Steffi. Appreciate that. All right, so let's try something that we did in Sharon's class that I do a lot in my own practice and I find really fun, but I want to get there a little bit more slowly than she had us get there. Not saying anything bad about Sharon. I loved her class so much. So if you want to hold onto a chair for this, you can, but I'm going to have my hands on my hips and I'm going to have a little bit of a wider stance. Right, always an option to take a break in your chair and take some breaths. I'm going to start to bring my weight over to one leg and bend that knee, and then bring my weight over to the other leg and bend that knee. And I'm just going back and forth from side to side. I'm bringing the weight into the knee that's bending a little bit. And gradually, I might lift up the heel, right? So I'm coming to one side and the other side, I might just come up onto the tiptoe of that leg. And eventually we might feel safe kicking that leg up. So I'm kicking that leg out to the side, coming down, kicking that leg out to the side. And if you wanted to, you could even use the arms. It kind of helps for balance, right? But if you need to stabilize with your hands, keep them on your chair. Bending and kicking. And this gets to be pretty hard after a while, right? So if you're experiencing any pain in your knees, skip it. If this is just not your jam, you can skip it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. All right, guys. Let's go ahead and I'm just checking in on you. Make sure I haven't done anything too bad here. let's take a little stretch. So I'm going to bring my right arm straight out in front. Seated or standing, I'm going to scoop underneath, draw the arm across the body, and give myself a shoulder stretch here. Take 3 breaths. And then switching sides, left arm straight out, scooping underneath, drawing the arm across the body. Shoulder is nice and low. 3 breaths. Right? Or doing something else that would feel good if this doesn't feel good for you. All right, and then I'm going to bring my right arm up and see if I could pat myself on my back. And you could do this seated or standing. And then I'm going to lift my left arm up and over and see if I could grab onto that elbow and give myself a little stretch here. Right, careful if you have had shoulder issues. That's a big stretch. Nice, guys. Let's try this with the other side. So I'll bring my left arm up and over, pat myself on the back. Reach up. Give yourself a little stretch here. Wonderful. And then I'm just going to lean forward and let my arms swing a little bit. Maybe it's just one arm. I have a little bend to both legs. I'm bringing some space into the shoulders. That's good, Judith. Way to hang in there today. All right. Gets to be kind of a fun little exercise. Okay, so let's go ahead and step our right foot forward and bring our left foot back with a little bend to that right knee. And I might straighten and bend the right knee a few times. So I'm looking to get a little stretch to the front of my left hip. Maybe I bring my hand onto my hips or just one hand. Good. And then I'm just going to switch sides, left foot forward, right foot back, bending and straightening that left leg, getting a little stretch for the right hip. See how this feels for you. All right, and now we're gonna go crazy here. So, balancing tiger is one of my, or it's also called bird dog. It's one of my favorite things to do on the mat, and we're going to do a version of it today standing. Right. So let's start with a weight in the right foot, and I'm going to bring my left foot back so I just have my toe on the earth. My toe's on the earth, and I have a soft bend to my right leg. And then I'm going to bring my right arm out. I'm not putting all my weight into this left arm. And I might be able to kick this left leg up and bring the elbow in. So I'm just staying with the right arm, left leg, kicking, extending, and then coming back down. And I might even want to try and bring the elbow towards the knee. So I'm just doing this one side a few times. Yeah, you guys understand what I'm trying to do here. And then you got it, Betty Ann. Beautiful. And then when you're ready to switch, I'm going to get there really slowly. Weight will come into the left foot. I'm going to tap my right toe on the earth behind me, stretch my left arm out, and I'm just taking a little exploratory lift of that right leg and bring it back down. Maybe the elbow crunches in. You really feel the work here. Stretching, and then maybe we're bringing the elbow towards the knee. I'm trying to keep a flat back here, especially if you have osteoporosis, looking to avoid rounding. I really feel the effort. And there you have it. One last stretch here, walking my feet away from my chair. Taking a few easy breaths. And then as you're ready, come on up Take a little sip of water. And let's do some stretches in the chair. I'm coming to sit. And I'm going to cross my right ankle over my left knee. And I might point and flex that right foot a few times. Maybe do a circle with that right toe. And I might really be feeling this stretch in the right hip already. Maybe I want to feel a little more sensation here in my right hip, so I could lean my heart forward without rounding my back, right? So if you're somebody who tends to just go right down into this rounded back, really try to stretch. Extend through your heart instead. Softening the shoulders. Finding a few breaths. You've got it. And then we'll come up and cross that knee all the way over so I have my right knee nestling on top of my left. And with a nice tall spine, I'll take a twist using my core, twisting to the right, peeking over my right shoulder, and using my core muscles to twist a little deeper. Slowly unwinding back to center. And we'll do all of that on the other side. So left ankle over the right knee. Maybe, right? Modify it if it doesn't work for you. A couple of circles with that left toe, left ankle. And I could stay right here, or I could stretch my heart forward without rounding my back. Softening my shoulders. Just really staying present with the direct sensation that I'm experiencing in my body. I really feel like I needed this stretch today. So I appreciate you helping me get it. And then we're coming up. I'm going to cross that knee over, sitting up nice and tall and taking that twist to the left. Not forcing it. Peeking over the left shoulder. And then slow unwind back to center. Maybe you want to interlace the fingers and press the palms away a few times. We didn't do much with the hands today. So maybe you want to make a fist and knock with that fist, so we're stretching the wrist. Maybe you want to make the infinity or a number 8 on its side with the wrists. Maybe you want to shake the hands out. Maybe you want to rub the hands together, and to close, let's take care of our eyes. So if you're wearing glasses, you could take your glasses off. And we're just going to cup the palms loosely over the eyes and drink in a little bit of stillness here so we can integrate all that we just did with our bodies. Right? Taking a moment just to breathe and be. Maybe you want to roll the eyes around a little bit. And when you're ready, you can maybe give the face a little massage on the way down. Take the glasses back on, and I'll just take a moment to notice your energy levels in your body. And that might show up in different ways, like a sort of a vibration or a warmth. Seeing what you can notice about your energy level. And hopefully taking a little bit of this vitality, I will say, with you into the rest of your day. And I really appreciate you showing up and taking good care of yourselves today. And I will see you with our next class. We'll have a really special chair yoga class on Monday. We're having a guest come, and she is going to share with us something called laughter yoga, which I'm very excited to learn about. So hope to see you in chair yoga on Monday or in another one of our offerings. Feel free to reach out and ask questions. My email is annegrace@iwmf.com.